Our goal here is how do I move you here from the scarcity to abundance, right, to this place here of prosperity where I'm constantly chasing the newest version of me.
Hey, this is Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years. Our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
What most people do is they get stuck on this thing here we talk about all the time, which is this. What is that? The karmic culdesac. And what that means is I'm just doing the same thing over and over, or I do what? I go right back to my old patterns. And everything I do in my life is driven by the thing we talked about last week before, my patterns. What else? Beliefs. And my stories. All these here. And that could also, beliefs could also be values. And it really has me going back to what? Just my comfort zone. And so 2 or 3 weeks I do it, then right back to the comfort zone. So I want to take some time today. We want to get clear on where we're at, aka what are the facts about my fruit right now? What are the facts about where I'm at right now in each part of my life? And some of you guys have already done that, hopefully. But I just wanted to kind of take it through, and it's nothing more powerful than going through. When I came out of doing mine 2 weeks ago, it was like laser focused. And I got all this stuff that I didn't realize that I needed to do. And really, looking back, quarter after quarter, I knew what to do. I just didn't get clear enough to do it when it comes to business, right? And so that's just something I think that's important to look at as well. And so what happens is most people, they make a decision to change. There's some type of trigger that comes along that process that has them fall off the wagon here in a way. It could be a long day, long week, problem, travel, anything at all. And what happens is that triggers them, and then they turn back and go right back to the same patterns they had before. And at that point, there's that pit. And the pit, guess what there is there? Some pain, right? Some just not resentment necessarily, but really guilt, shame, things like that come along, and then all of a sudden I'm trying to get back up, but I fell off the wagon. Now I'm right back here again. And if anything, what we want to do for 90 days is how do we change your patterns and change your daily behaviors? Because old patterns are very, very difficult to change. But if I can help you put 12 weeks of it together, guess what? Now that becomes the normalcy for you. And I think that's the key part to look at, and I'll share that with, I think, Katie, somebody one-on-one, is that a luxury enjoyed, right, then becomes a necessity. And if I get to that point where that becomes my life now, and I'm used to that, and I've got that, for me, that becomes the new floor. And so my goal is how do we push you into 12 weeks to have that, and that's something that's kind of super important in that aspect. And there's 3 main things that we kind of have the people to drive all over the place. The first when people come into real estate is scarcity. Right? You get in scarcity, what do you want to do? Just want to make some deals, right? I just want to get a deal or two, just get a little bit of money in. I know I can just get something, I just need to pay my bills. Right? Some of you guys are there brand new. Some of you have been there for a little bit. And what happens is, all of a sudden the next level, who knows what the next level is? There's the hardest difference. This is why I'm talking about the quarter here. The next one's abundance. This is the hardest one for people to escape. So you come in, pay your bills, get a new car, start doing pretty good, and what happens to everyone? They back off the pedal, right? They quit doing the stuff that got them there to get from scarcity to abundance. And so part of this understanding your own psychology, and what happens here is everyone pulls off the pedal and they forget what they did before. And that's what puts you back here into this karmic cul-de-sac, because I go back into the same thing, my old patterns, my old behaviors, because I got comfortable. My brain wants to remain comfortable. I don't want to make the dials anymore. I don't want to do the things I did before. Don't like getting up early. All those things, right? Drive me back here, and I stick in this area between scarcity and abundance because I'm only motivated by pain and not going back to zero. And so our goal here is how do I move you here from the scarcity to abundance, right, to this place here of prosperity where I'm constantly chasing the newest version of me. I'm asking myself a question. What's the question you think? I've talked about this before in the past. Who do I have to become? Right? Who do I have to become for me to get what I want, to sustain this, to keep this, to buy the new rental property, to buy the new investment property, get my new house? Whatever it is, I got to constantly keep pushing for that. But if we don't take the time to slow down and go through here, we're not going to get there as fast. And so part of what this does is allows me to strip away the stories of, well, who am I becoming now here's where I'm going. It says, look, what are the facts right now of where I'm at? And sometimes the facts aren't as good as we think they are. And so the motivation there is, how do we take that, pull that back to us right now and just look over and above, okay, what's going on in my life right now in all 4 areas of life. Now, I've taught this before. The problem is, in one way, I cannot maintain one without maintaining the others. And if not, what happens is life tends to find a way to correct me. And I've done it before. I sacrifice everything in business, You push. You finally get some money, and all of a sudden what happens? You're like, man, F this. This sucks. I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. My relationship went to right? Whatever it is, I don't have a relationship. Now I feel lonely. Whatever it may be, what happens there is all of a sudden, from my fight to make the business work, all of a sudden becomes not worth it in my story. Because my perception is my own reality, right? And so, in essence, the reality is I'm only as strong as my weakest link long term. So, I have my body. I've been through this before. I neglected my body a lot heavier, overweight, but I was a lot heavier, about 20 pounds heavier. If you look at some old videos, you're like, damn, you look at that pre-warrior stuff, it was a lot different. Because why? Sacrificed my body. I was drinking 6-7 nights a week just to sustain the pain of business. And my 330s Adderall every single day. And so it got to a point where I'm like, dude, I'm going to die if I don't stop doing this. Right? And so there's no point in getting money if I can't be alive for it. And that was literally the conversation I had with myself in that part. And so the second one, which is important, my being, this is what sneaks up on a lot of y'all. My being part, why? This is where burnout sneaks up on you. Why? Because it's your happiness. My connection to God, my fulfillment. And so if I neglect it, what happens is all of a sudden I'm not grateful for what I got. I'm not connected with myself. I'm not connected with what's going on. And that's the one, you wake up one day, you're like, man, I don't know why. All of a sudden I hate myself. I hate what I'm doing. I hate what's going on. And I think this is why it's so sneaky on everybody. Because they don't focus 10% of their time on it, 5% of their time on it. It's hard for me because I was never the type that really appreciated where I'm at. I'm always hunting down the next place. But if I don't take time to appreciate how far I've come, I'm really going to devalue what I've done and devalue my work and devalue myself, which means I don't appreciate it, which gives me back into that cycle of what? The cul-de-sac. Because then I self-sabotage, you go back to where I was at, bad habits, bad patterns, and all of a sudden I got to build myself back up, but I'm never happy. That's why some of you here, if you ride the roller coaster consistently, you become very unhappy. You can only ride it so long before you want to get off that ride. And so that's the other part of that in that aspect. And so the balance part, why is that important? That's your why. That's why you go through the pain. That's why you deal with all the problems, the closing issues. That's the why, what makes it worth it, especially when you talk about children involved. That's what makes it worth it because that's what you're fighting for. And so if I'm not clear on my target of what I'm fighting for, making that better, or worse, I'm sacrificing this to get this, that's what the hurt comes in on the long term. And so that's the aspect here that obviously all that goes down to business because why does that matter? Without business, without money, all this other sucks. I don't care how great relationship you have. If y'all can't pay your bills for a long time, you ain't going to have a relationship real long. Period. Because that's just the reality of how life works. Can't go do anything, can't enjoy anything. And so everything hinges on this, yes, but you have to be able to be four-dimensional to have long-term sustainability and happiness and fulfillment. And this is hard because everyone I knew was successful. The rest of their life was terrible. Right? And so it wasn't until I got into that word of warrior where I started looking at understanding, like, look, this is a possibility. Obviously, I'm driven by one. For most people in business, 80% of your time and focus is on business, which that's okay. Why? Because for me, that brings fulfillment and happiness to a point. But I want to have these other ones to make it worth it, to have appreciation, understanding, and obviously make sure I can enjoy it. And so those things matter that I take time to get clear because I'm only as strong as my weakest link for a certain amount of time. And so I want to remember that because a lot of people come in and neglect it. Now, do we have certain ones that are more urgent than others? Absolutely. If you're brand new in this business, 90% of your focus needs to be here. The rest part is going to be in your balance, and then you're going to have to maybe sacrifice a little bit here in the short term. And your why is going to have to be just being successful. But once I got that part from here, from scarcity to abundance, this is when the other two are really important. Because if not, I self-sabotage and I take myself back here to scarcity every single time. And that's what brings generational poverty in a lot of areas. They can never get over that hump, or they can never sustain past that. You know why? They're missing the two secret links right here of the body being in balance that help give fulfillment. And so that's the thing here. There's only so much cool shit you can buy. But if you have a why behind it and it pushes it, makes you want to get better. And here, part of being successful comes to your being. Why? Good. What do you got?
It's part of your self-reflection. Do you think you want?
100%, right? So as I've gone through these tests, part of me, what drove me to want to be successful was really significance. Not necessarily money. I want to be somebody someday. And do something and be something and have something. And so for me, that part brings fulfillment. But if I don't take time to take inventory and appreciate it, then I never hit that point and never feel it. And so part of that was me taking time to get clear and do all these questions and go through it, which I think is super important for us to love. Because overall, we're just looking at a boot camp in life. And so as I take you guys, to that level, what's happening is you're just based on these levels where I have a different color, and we'll start on the goals. I just want to kind of share that. My scarcity part, my abundance part, my prosperity part, at each point, you're a person going through that. Each time, guess what? You're different. But if you operate in the old system up here that you were here, you're going to end up right back there. How do we fix that? We pause, we appreciate, we get clarity, and then also we move to the next target. Does that make sense? And so it's a challenge-based lifestyle that allows you to live quarterly because I want to have fulfillment, I want to have traction.